Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. This time, we're going to be taking a look at the future.
The future of app development.
That's right, app development in 2025.
Think ahead.
Yeah. And, you sent over this article called What's Next in App Development? Trends for 2025.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. One of the things that really stood out to me is that they're saying apps aren't just like,
Not just a nice thing to have.
yeah, a nice to have or a little extra thing you can do.
Right.
It's like they're saying apps are essential for like any modern business now.
Absolutely.
And we're going to be looking at all kinds of really cool stuff, I think, like AI and the Internet of Things, blockchain even.
Oh, yeah.
And how all of that is going to change how apps are built and how people use them.
It's really changing the whole landscape of development.
Yeah, and by the end of this deep dive, hopefully everyone listening will not only know what these trends are,
Right.
but also how they're going to impact businesses.
And our lives.
Yeah, and our lives.
Yeah, I think this article makes it very clear that app development is not just some passing trend. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how businesses operate and how we interact with technology.
Yeah, and it says that straight up, it says digital transformation. That's like the driving force in business today.
Yeah, it's not just a buzzword anymore.
Right, it's like the thing.
It's the main thing.
And it throws out this crazy statistic.
Oh, yeah.
By 2027, global spending on digital transformation is going to be almost $4 trillion.
That's a lot of money.
That is a ton of money.
I mean, that really highlights the scale of this shift.
Yeah.
It shows that businesses are recognizing that technology, especially apps, are key to unlocking new levels of efficiency,
Yeah.
improving customer experiences, and ultimately staying competitive.
Yeah.
I mean, companies are realizing they need to fully integrate apps into their overall business strategies to thrive.
So it's like apps are like the core.
They're becoming the core.
Yeah, of how business works.
Yeah, the article really emphasizes that organizations that don't adapt risk being left behind.
Right. It's like,
It's almost like the businesses that embrace this change are building a rocket ship
yeah.
while everyone else is still trying to figure out how to ride a bicycle.
And one of the biggest things that stood out to me was this whole thing about AI, and especially generative AI.
Generative AI is huge right now.
Like, it seems like it's a must-have for making apps.
It's becoming essential.
Yeah, and what was really wild is they were saying that developers can just type in, like, prompts.
Prompts or upload flowcharts.
And the AI will just, like, create the app.
It can translate those instructions into code.
It sounds crazy.
It is pretty amazing.
Is it too good to be true?
Well, it's still early days, but the potential is definitely there. Gartner, which is a leading research and advisory company,
Yeah, I've heard of them.
predicts that by 2025, 39% of organizations will be experimenting with AI in some form.
Wow. So almost half of.
Yeah, and 14% will have fully integrated it into their operations.
That's a pretty big chunk of businesses.
It is.
What makes generative AI so game-changing? Like, what does it actually do to help app development?
Well, it basically lets developers describe what they want an app to do, and the AI can then take those instructions and turn them into functional code.
Yeah.
This frees up developers to focus on the bigger picture,
Okay.
the overall design and functionality.
So instead of like getting bogged down in the little details of the code,
Right.
I can think more about like what the app's supposed to do and how it's going to work.
Exactly.
It's almost like having an AI assistant that can write code for you.
That's a good way to put it.
But what about the quality?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Like, can AI really produce code that's as good as what like a human developer would write?
Well, the article points out that generative AI is constantly evolving,
Okay.
and the quality of the code it produces is improving all the time. In some cases, it can even outperform human developers in terms of efficiency and accuracy.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, and the fact that it can automate some of these more tedious tasks,
Yeah.
it really frees up developers to be more creative,
Okay.
to focus on strategy and innovation.
So it's not about replacing human developers.
No, not at all.
It's more about like giving them better tools.
It's about augmenting their capabilities.
Yeah. And I guess that means we're going to have even cooler apps in the future.
Absolutely.
Like they're saying that generative AI is going to make apps that are smarter, more personalized.
Right, apps that can learn your preferences, automate tasks, even anticipate your needs.
Oh, wow. Anticipate your needs.
It sounds futuristic, but it's closer than you think.
Are there any apps out there now that are doing that?
There are a few early examples, but the field is moving so fast
I bet.
that new applications are popping up all the time.
Yeah.
Like personalization is a big area where we're seeing AI make an impact. You can imagine an app that learns your shopping habits
Yeah.
and recommends products you might like.
That would be helpful.
Or a fitness app that creates a workout plan based on your fitness level and goals.
That's cool.
Yeah, AI is making apps more intuitive and helpful.
The article also mentioned something called AI agents.
Right.
And that sounds like it's even more like sci-fi.
It's like a supercharged version of those virtual assistants we have on our phones now.
Oh, okay.
AI agents are AI programs that are designed to perform specific tasks autonomously,
Okay.
like with minimal human input.
So what, like they would just do it themselves?
Yeah, you could tell it what you wanted to do, and it would figure out how to do it.
Wow.
For example, imagine an AI agent that could handle all your travel arrangements.
Oh, that would be nice.
It could book your flights, your hotels, even create a personalized itinerary based on your preferences.
No more stressing about planning trips?
I think we're all going to be relying on AI agents more and more in the coming years.
Yeah, it sounds really useful.
Deloitte, another big consulting firm, predicts that 25% of businesses using generative AI will be using AI agents by 2025.
Wow. That's in just a couple of years?
And Gartner predicts that by 2028, 1/3 of all enterprise software will incorporate agentic AI,
1/3.
compared to less than 1% this year.
That's a massive jump.
It really shows how quickly this technology is taking off.
So AI agents, it sounds like that's going to be a big part of the future of apps.
Definitely.
But the article also talked about the Internet of Things, or IoT.
Right, which often gets lumped in with AI.
How does that fit into all of this?
Well, IoT is basically about connecting everyday objects to the internet
Okay.
so they can collect and share data, and then apps can use that data to provide insights and functionality.
Okay, I think I get the idea, but can you give me like a specific example?
Sure, the article uses the example of a factory,
Okay.
where machines are equipped with sensors that monitor their performance and can predict when they need maintenance. All of this data is then fed into an app that allows managers to track the health of their equipment in real time.
So it's almost like they have a digital doctor for their machines.
Exactly.
They know like when something's about to break down before it actually happens.
Right, they can schedule preventative maintenance, minimize downtime, and maximize efficiency.
That's amazing. But how widespread is this kind of thing? Is it really being used out in the real world?
It absolutely is.
Wow.
And the potential impact is huge.
Okay.
McKinsey, a global management consulting firm,
Yeah.
estimates that IoT could contribute up to $11 trillion in economic value by 2025.
Wow. That's a lot of value.
It is, because IoT allows for real-time data analysis,
Right.
which leads to all sorts of improvements: optimized processes, reduced waste, preventative maintenance.
So businesses save money.
They do.
All right, so we've got AI, IoT. What other like crazy new technologies are we looking at here?
Well, the article also talks about blockchain.
Okay, yeah, that one always seems a little mysterious to me.
I can understand that.
What is it exactly?
It's a complex technology, but essentially it's a decentralized digital ledger that records transactions in a secure and transparent way.
Okay.
And this has huge implications for all kinds of things:
Like what?
data security, supply chain management, even things like voting.
Okay, so how would blockchain actually be used in an app?
Well, imagine an app that could let you track the journey of your food
Okay.
from the farm to your table, using blockchain to verify its origins, its ethical sourcing, even its environmental impact.
Oh, wow.
That's just one example of how blockchain can bring transparency to complex systems.
So you know exactly where your food came from and how it got to you?
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
And the World Economic Forum predicts that by 2027, 10% of global GDP could be stored on blockchain networks.
Wow. That's a huge number.
It is.
So it sounds like blockchain is going to be a really big deal.
It has the potential to be.
Okay, so we've got AI, IoT, blockchain. It seems like there's a lot of really exciting stuff happening.
It's a really dynamic time in the world of app development.
Yeah, but with all this like amazing technology, I'm also wondering about like,
The potential downsides.
yeah, like are there any risks?
Right.
Or like things that could go wrong?
Yeah, the article does mention the importance of responsible development. With all this innovation, it's more important than ever to consider the ethical implications of the apps we create.
Yeah, for sure.
We need to be thinking about data privacy, security, and even the potential impact of these technologies on society as a whole.
So it's not just about like making cool new apps.
No, it's about making sure those apps are used for good.
Right, and that they're not going to cause problems down the line.
Exactly.
This is really interesting stuff.
It is.
I'm glad we're talking about it.
Me too.
I'm excited to see where all of this goes.
It's going to be fascinating to watch how it all unfolds.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to digging into some more specific examples of how these trends are being used.
Yeah, me too.
And talking about like the challenges and the opportunities that come with them.
It's a whole new world of app development.
It is, and we're just starting to explore it.
That's right.
So it seems like all these things we've been talking about, AI, IoT, blockchain, They're all kind of coming together at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. They're all interconnected and kind of feeding off of each other.
And it seems like the article is saying that it's really important for businesses to be able to keep up.
Oh, absolutely.
Like they need to be able to adapt quickly.
Yeah, agility is key in this rapidly evolving landscape.
So it's not enough to just like know what the trends are
No, you have to actually incorporate them into your strategy.
and do it fast.
Exactly. The article suggests that organizations that prioritize that agility, that forward-thinking approach to development,
Yeah.
those are the ones that are going to be leading the charge.
It's almost like a race to the future.
In a way, it is. The companies that can embrace these changes quickly and effectively,
Yeah.
they're going to be the ones creating the solutions that really resonate with customers,
Right.
streamlining their operations and ultimately driving growth.
I bet it's going to change how businesses operate at every level.
Oh, I think so.
It's not just about like the CEO making decisions.
No, it's going to impact every department.
Yeah.
You can imagine marketing teams using AI to create personalized campaigns,
Oh, yeah.
sales teams leveraging apps to manage complex data, close deals faster,
Like everything's just going to get so much more efficient.
and personalize. The possibilities are really endless.
And it's not just about business either, right? Like all this stuff affects our lives too.
Yeah, absolutely. The article talks about mobile app development as a prime example. It's not optional anymore. It's essential for engaging with users.
Yeah, like we're all on our phones constantly these days.
Exactly. It's a mobile-first world.
So if a business wants to reach people,
Yeah.
they have to have a good mobile app.
They need to provide a seamless and enjoyable mobile experience.
And it's not just about having an app, it's about having the right app.
Yeah, an app that's fast, intuitive, and provides personalized content.
Right. And it has to be easy to use.
Fast load times, easy navigation, user-friendly layouts.
Yeah, all that stuff matters.
Absolutely. Organizations that ignore the mobile experience are missing out on a huge opportunity.
And I feel like this is where low-code development comes in.
Yes, definitely. The article suggests that low-code platforms can be incredibly useful for creating those mobile-first experiences.
Yeah, I can see how that would work.
The drag-and-drop functionality, the pre-built templates,
Yeah.
it makes it so much easier to create an app that looks good and is easy to use.
And it's faster, right?
Much faster.
The article mentioned that Gartner predicts that like 70% of new apps
70%?
are going to be built with low code by 2025.
It's a massive shift.
That's a huge number.
It really shows how much this technology is changing the game.
So what about businesses that are still using older systems?
Yeah, legacy modernization is definitely a challenge.
How do they keep up with all this new stuff?
Well, the article points out that generative AI and low-code platforms can actually help to bridge that gap.
Oh, okay.
They can make it easier to integrate legacy systems with modern technology.
So instead of just throwing out the old stuff,
Right.
they can find ways to make it work with the new stuff.
Exactly. The article even mentions a statistic that 78% of organizations are already incorporating AI into their modernization efforts.
Wow, so they're using AI to like fix up their old systems?
They're using it to streamline the process, make those legacy systems more compatible with today's demands.
I'm curious though, how does AI actually do that?
It's not always a simple process,
I bet.
but the article suggests AI can be used in several ways to make modernization more manageable.
Okay.
For example, AI can analyze legacy code and identify areas that need updating or rewriting. It can also automate some of the more tedious tasks involved in modernization, like data migration or code refactoring.
So it's like AI is doing all the boring stuff.
It's taking on the heavy lifting,
Yeah.
so developers can focus on the more creative and strategic aspects of modernization.
And we could even use those AI agents we talked about.
Absolutely, they could play a big role in legacy modernization.
Right, like they could update code automatically,
Yeah,
test new features, maybe even find security problems in the old systems.
exactly. AI agents could significantly speed up the modernization process.
But it's not just about speed, right?
No, it's also about doing it responsibly.
Yeah, the article talked about the importance of building apps that are secure and ethical.
Right, especially when it comes to data privacy and security.
So how do developers make sure they're doing that?
Well, the article highlights a few key features that can help.
Okay.
One is user consent management,
Mm-hmm.
so users have control over how their data is being used.
That's important.
Another is data privacy controls
Yeah.
to protect sensitive information.
Right, you don't want that stuff getting out there.
And then there are security audits
Okay.
to find and fix any vulnerabilities in the app's code,
Mm-hmm.
and user authentication to verify user identities.
So it's about building security into the app from the very beginning.
Yeah, it's not an afterthought.
It seems like responsible development is becoming more and more important.
It definitely is.
Like it's not really optional anymore.
Right. There's increasing pressure from both regulators and consumers for businesses to be more ethical and responsible.
Yeah, people care about their data.
They do.
And they want to know that it's being protected.
And that the companies they're doing business with are operating ethically.
It's a lot to think about.
It is.
But it's really important stuff.
It is. And it's something that's only going to become more important in the future.
So we've talked a lot about these trends in kind of a general way.
The big picture.
Yeah, but can we look at some like real examples of how this stuff is being used?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I keep thinking about that picture in the article.
The one with the factory?
Yeah, with like the robotic arms.
Oh, yeah.
And the touchscreen.
Yeah.
It looked so futuristic.
It did. But that kind of technology is already being used.
Really?
In industries like manufacturing and logistics.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, think about it.
Yeah.
Those robotic arms could be controlled and monitored through an app, collecting data in real time to optimize efficiency and even predict when maintenance is needed.
So they could like stop problems before they even happen.
Exactly.
Less downtime for the factory.
Right.
Things run more smoothly.
And save businesses money.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the applications go way beyond just factories.
Okay.
The article mentions supply chain management as another example.
Okay.
Using IoT sensors could track goods in transit, monitor environmental conditions, even prevent theft or damage.
Wow. So it's like they can see everything that's happening.
Yeah, it's like having eyes and ears everywhere.
All through an app.
Right.
That's pretty amazing.
The article even highlights some companies that are using this kind of technology right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for real-time supply chain visibility and security.
So they know exactly where everything is.
At every step of the way.
Wow. That must be so helpful for businesses.
It is. It helps them to be more efficient, and it builds trust with customers.
Yeah, because people want to know where their stuff is coming from.
Exactly. Consumers are more informed than ever.
Right.
And they want to know that the businesses they support are operating ethically and sustainably.
I can definitely see that.
Okay, so we've seen some examples of IoT.
Yeah.
What about blockchain? You mentioned that you were still a little fuzzy on that one.
Yeah, I get the basic idea. But I'd love to see like a concrete example of how it's actually being used.
Okay, well, the article talks about this platform called Hashgraph Application Studio.
Okay.
And it uses AI to make it easier to build decentralized applications, or dApps.
dApps, what are those?
Essentially, they're applications that are built on blockchain technology.
Okay.
They use the security and transparency of blockchain to do all sorts of cool things.
Like what?
Well, the article mentions voting systems as one example.
Oh, interesting.
Imagine a world where you could be absolutely sure that your vote was counted accurately and securely.
Yeah, that would be great.
That's the potential of blockchain.
Wow. I thought a lot of people would be on board with that,
I think so, too.
especially these days.
And that's just one example.
Okay.
Blockchain can also be used to track the origins of products, like making sure that coffee is fair trade,
Yeah.
or that a diamond is conflict-free.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, it's all about transparency and accountability.
It seems like blockchain is going to be used for a lot more than just cryptocurrency in the future.
I think so. It has the potential to revolutionize all sorts of industries.
It's amazing to think about all the possibilities.
It is. And we're just scratching the surface.
But all of this new technology also makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, I get that.
Like, what if something goes wrong?
Right, like, are there any risks or challenges associated with these trends? That's a really important question. And the article does acknowledge some potential downsides.
Okay, like what?
Well, for one thing, this rapid pace of technological advancement can be overwhelming for businesses, especially smaller companies with limited resources.
Yeah, it must be hard to keep up.
It can be. It's a real challenge to stay ahead of the curve.
So if you don't adapt quickly enough,
You risk falling behind.
right, you miss the boat.
And then there are concerns about data privacy and security,
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
especially with AI and blockchain. It's crucial for developers to prioritize ethical considerations and make sure these technologies are being used responsibly.
Like we were talking about before with governance and compliance.
Exactly. Those frameworks are really important for ensuring that apps are developed and used in a way that is ethical, secure, and compliant with regulations.
So it's not just about the technology itself, it's about how we manage it
And regulate it.
to make sure it's being used for good.
Right. It's a delicate balance.
It really is.
We've covered so much ground in this deep dive.
I know, it's a lot to take in.
But it's all fascinating stuff.
It is. I feel like we've gone from the really technical details of app development
Yeah.
all the way to like the philosophical questions about technology and society.
It's all connected.
It is, and it's really exciting to be a part of this whole thing.
It is. It's a really dynamic time to be involved in app development.
And to be using apps.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been another great deep dive.
I've really enjoyed it.
Thanks for sharing all this with us.
My pleasure.
And thanks to everyone for listening. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into something fascinating.